Steve, good morning, brother. Jim, Noah, how are you guys? Happy Friday. It felt a little like the weekend yesterday, didn't it? That was nice. Or maybe just the break was super needed. Can't tell the difference. Happy Friday. Yeah, there are a bunch of setups. Some are a bit more extended than others, but there's still some really nice looking charts out there. Hell of a move for coin, man. Got back that entire decline from February and March. ARC is looking very similar. Got back almost the whole decline from February and March. This will be waking up to a small little gap up. Obviously, Circle and Coin both have something to do with that. I am fully trimmed on ARC, so just trail time now. Yeah, Rocket Lab starting to look pretty dang good. Small, subtle gap up this morning. Silver, bit of a breakdown this morning. Silver starting to get a little crowded in terms of positioning, so I don't think it'll matter. In fact, I still think that you'll still have most of your trading right around the exact same time. Like, are people really just supposed to stay up all night? Most of the volume is going to be concentrated with the players in the U.S., and they're not going to really change their hours just because it's trading overnight. I still think, your levels on individual stocks will be respected. I mean, unless you're out there trading the NASDAQ, but in which case you have, you say the NASDAQ is aiming to have 24-hour trading. The NQ is 24-hour trading, and it's the futures market, and it's like the most liquid market in the world. So, there already is 24-hour trading. You're now basically just opening up stocks to that, but I don't think it'll matter. Some stocks already kind of have 24-hour trading, and liquidity is terrible. I don't think it'll matter. Yeah, Rocket Lab, definitely an interesting one, getting better. I obviously posted that whole SpaceX had the issue with their, what was it called? I forget the name of their exact rocket or whatever, but blew up. Sucks, but could be a trading opportunity there on like a Rocket Lab or something. Yeah, Hims is starting to look better. I mean, it looks good. Hims looks pretty dang good. It looks better. I like the further it gets away from this big distribution bar, the better. MBIS, it's fine, just a bit extended, man. I've had an issue playing some of these extended ones, but it looks good. It's a bit extended though. Let me see. Let me triple check, make sure I'm not just saying that. See how extended. Yeah, still 7 times its average true range. What do I think of Galaxy? I saw a couple people talking about it on Wednesday. I mean, looks like a cup and a handle bouncing right off the fit. I mean, there's nothing really to hate about it. I bet they don't have earnings and sales at all, but do they fit some kind of a theme? What do they do exactly? Let's take a look. What do they do? Capital markets, Galaxy Digital. So they got something to do with stablecoin. Ethereum, Solana, Polygon. Into AI and high performance computing to help meet the increased demand of reliable data structure. Dickens County, Texas. Decentralized economy. They just closed a almost $500 million offering. Interesting. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I mean it's interesting. They fit the right theme right now. So long as Coin and Circle are going, they definitely fit the right theme. Yeah, Circle is wild. All of the stocks that talk about stablecoin, they're going to be ripping. It would be in Apple's best interest to talk about stablecoins. Yeah, I don't know if Circle's ready to go today. The what would be awesome. Well, because here's the thing, I'm long ARC, so I'm kind of a cheerleader for this thing right now because I don't own Circle, and I did not buy coin over 265 on Wednesday. So I'm kind of hoping these things go nuts. Um, so I didn't just waste my money on a Kathy Wood T-shirt. Oh man, I'm too ridiculous with that. What are my thoughts on Chewy after a gap down like this? Leave it alone. This looks like a bear flag. Let me give you another example. So you get this gap down on earnings, and then you get this little sideways digestion while the market's ripping, right? So now all of a sudden, this is relative weakness after a sell-off. If the market begins to roll over, this is probably the one you want to short. And I'll give you another example. Look at what happened to NOW. You ready? Tell me this doesn't look very similar. You get a steady uptrend beforehand, you get a gap down on earnings, and then you get a handful of sideways days. Does that look fairly similar to what you just saw in Chewy? Gap down on earnings, stock going sideways, market begins to go lower. What does NOW do? Make sense? Let's take a look at Chewy again. What's it doing? I'm not saying it's going to do that, has to do that, will do that, but does that make sense? What's the difference between that and KTOS? What's the difference between Chewy and KTOS? KTOS came down, consolidated, and then instantly came right back up. Also, there was no gap. There was no intraday gap. There's no gap here, right? That's exactly why I compared it to now and not KTOS. KTOS got bought right back up, right? Stabilized and started to trickle right back up. I'm not saying Chewy can't do the same, but right, it's going to have to start doing that like now, but it doesn't look like it. This looks more like NOW. Does it not? You're welcome, Blue. TPL, another short candidate. Yeah, possibly. The ones that we've been talking about in the room for the last few weeks have been Geo, right? Because the market's been going up. This thing broke down on earnings, started to just go sideways while the market's going up. The other was LTH because it did the exact same thing, broke down on earnings while the market was going up all of May. This thing was just going sideways. And then we also talked about MMYT, right? While this thing was just consolidating under the 200, then they dropped an offering. Some kind of big volume coming in here, but I'm not sure. Living below the 200 like this while the market's ripping, huge volume like this and price still not filling the gap. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but yeah, WGS. That's right, Surreal. Another one that we talked about. So, it's below the 200. And guys, look, what happens is a stock can be on this really nice move up, sideways, move up, consolidation, move up, consolidation. Like that's just what they do, right? But then eventually they start to live below their 200. And, just as an example, like this was solar way back here, right? And this had already made a move up, but then it starts to live a little bit below the 200 and then tries to reclaim the 200 and rejects it. And then lower we go. Or even an ANF, which looks a little more like that TPL, but you get this really steady move up, right? Then you digest and then you break below the 200 pretty decisively on a pickup in volume, right? And then it's just steady downtrend from there. Yeah, SoFi does look good. This effing thing shook me out, dude. Very annoying. We bought this on 6/11 and then 2 days later stopped me out. But of course, they just chop around and then they go. It's been very annoying to get repositioned on the long side recently. Yeah, MU was a gap down on earnings as well, right? So you had right in here, you had rejected the 200 once, twice, three times, and every time this little upper trend line. Then you get this gap down on earnings. I'm shorting the gap down, and then it just rolled over from there. Um, GRR was just a loss of the 50 simple moving average, right? Just right in here. Bounced off the 50 the day before earnings started to rip. The next day, I posted earnings in the evening and fell completely right against the 50. I was like, well, that sucks. That's no good. You lose the 50, I'm going to short. So I shorted the very next day. And then that's it. Little breakdown. I covered this thing perfectly right here. And then I held the rest of my shares this entire time, only to cover right here on 6.5. This was a green day. Like I covered it after this break of prior day high, and then it turned into a red day. But I was kind of happy about it the next day that I was out. Yeah, iron looking better. Yeah, eat. Hopefully, eat shapes up. Um, iron. We got cores. Whoops, cores, and we have hut. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, we'll see what Melly decides to do. Hanging on to the 50. This stock needs a 10 for 1 before I really want to trade it. I wouldn't play coin today. The spot was 265, right? We were watching this live in the room. It's just I just didn't pull the trigger. Why? Because I was getting stopped out of longs, right? I mean, again, my mistake. I should have recognized the that circle, pays them a bunch of their revenue, and I kind of effed this one up. I was in this thing right here, right? I was playing it kind of as a little bounce off the 20 simple moving average, and I bought it over prior day high 251, you know, and then I was stopped out of this thing for a small little profit. And then obviously, continues to go sideways, builds a nice little flag, has a super nice tight inside day, subtle gap up. Everything was all right with this chart. And then you had a nice news catalyst. It's not even, well, for one, it's not the high volume close, right? There was even more volume technically on 516. Um, and again, this is, you'd be chasing this thing up quite a bit, right? This thing's at 309. So you'll be chasing this thing up another, 5% from the close. It's just, it's getting up there. Wouldn't make me comfortable. Yeah, SMCI, another one that still looks decent. Yeah, CEG looks fine. VST, another one that's been rocking. GEV, another one that looks pretty good, just still a bit extended from the 50. It's done this before. Big move up and then just found support on the rising 20 and still going sideways. It did this right here. Big move up, found some support on the rising 20 and then just kept going sideways till the 50 caught up. So, I don't really want to own GEV just yet. Too extended. But could it keep going? Yeah, of course it can. This one I like a little bit more. A-Lab. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, A-Lab does look great. A-Lab looks great. SMCI looks fine. You're in A-Lab, SMCI, Roblox, and Toast. That's amazing. Roblox is getting a bit extended, but it can continue to work. But this is getting a bit insane, dude. A bit insane. Just be careful. Or not really careful. You're in it, but just be thoughtful of making sure you're getting paid on the way up. Yeah, it's Roblox is getting way up there. Way, 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 way up there. So I would just be careful with that, right? Don't fall in love. Yeah, I still think nuclear names are relevant. I mean, the leaders still look good. GEV, CEG, VST, I think those are your leaders for now. CCJ is another one. And then for your momentum names, Oklo, SMR, and NNE. are your best holding up. I mean, who knows how long the theme can last for? Can go for a while. As long as they're above their key moving averages. Yeah, I liked A Lab on Wednesday, $98. So effectively, right? I liked it over these wicks to kind of cheat myself into the entry. Right? That was the first spot I was watching it. But obviously it had a pretty nice up day, and then now it's gapping up overnight. So ideally over Wednesday's highs, but we're going to be a bit above that. So you can just wait for, make sure that the market's trending up when you go to buy it, but a simple 5-minute opening range break. Karen, love to hear that. Do I drink Bros? No, I don't, but thank you for putting it back on my radar. This thing needs to get going, man. A bit of a laggard right now. Same with my toast. I know I'm no longer in this one, but needs to get going. Yeah, I like Tesla. I still like Tesla. I just think it's consolidating here. Needs to get back over its 20 simple moving average. I mean, simple as that, right? It's like you had this huge unwind. You came right back up into that level, and look at how well it's respected the 20 simple. So, it's got to get back above. No, it's just got to get back above. If it can't get back above, then we're kind of just fighting the trend for now. You got into toast yesterday with a 70% position. That doesn't even make any sense. Why would you do that? This hasn't even, for one, this hasn't even been acting like one of the best names over the last month. It's been doing absolutely nothing. So you bought it on Wednesday with a 70% position at hot. What? Why the hell would you do that? One, I think it's good you study about proper position sizing, or your career is not going to last too long. 70% position, dude. What are you what are you doing? Don't do that. CRDO, very nice on earnings. I mean, it looks awesome. Can't really buy it here. You can continue to attempt them, but just on smaller size, right? Like, so if you were taking 10% position sizes and you were taking longs and they're not working, they're not working, you're just going to cut it down to 5% position size. Because if you can't gain traction on 10, what's the point in jumping to 20? It's like, don't do that. Don't dig a bigger hole, you know, cut it in half. And then once you start to gain some traction and gain some traction on your second and on your third, right, then you can go back to 10%. And try to get yourself reinvested into traction. Otherwise, you should also be paying attention to the market to see if shorts are failing, if shorts are, I say shorts are working. So, you know, like things will like create a little bear flag, and then they'll start to break down from there some more. And you're noticing that there's follow through to the downside, and the market's picking up some distribution days, etc. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of guessing on my end. I don't know what MSTR is going to do, but all I know is that, like Uber, it needs to get over 392.56, which is over the day's high that it gapped down. That's what I know for sure. OUST breaking out in pre-market, another one that's a bit extended too, but yeah, could very well keep going. It's just too extended from the. I can't buy these, man. We're kind of going through. You know, you're a stock that's up 85%. I can't come in and buy that. And now you'll be at 22 bucks. You'll be up 100% from the 50 day. You know, there's no buying that for me, Jay. It could work as a day trade, but if you do that too many times as a swing trader, you're going to get your ass kicked. Hood just needs a little bit more sideways. It's an absolute beast. Arm doesn't look as good as ALAB. So you ask yourself this: would you rather ARM, or would you rather ALAB, or would you rather ARM, or would you rather AVGO? Right? I only really see two candidates out there on the semi side at the moment. Yeah, probably at the 20 day. ASTS. Oh, SATS. The hell is this? Nah, let it establish itself above the 200 a little bit better. I like the gap up. You know, that's good. Either a bigger consolidation here, or, you know, I'm not sure what I would like here, but it just got over the 200. No, I want more sideways. Let the 50 catch up a little bit more. It's already up there quite a bit. Yeah, I talked about SMCI. SMCI looks good. It looked good 44.70 on Wednesday. Right? This thing had a super clean level, right, going into Wednesday. Yeah, a bit extended. MBIS is a bit extended. But it's not really doing anything wrong here. It's just building out a little bull flag. Looks good. Can't hate what it's doing. Just needs to digest a little bit more. Yeah, Reddit's definitely looking better. It just got over the 200 on really nice volume, might I add. This one definitely looks ready pretty soon to rock. Built a nice little stage one base just underneath that 200, got accumulated, and then now we're back above the 200 on some nice volume. Yeah, ARC was a nice buy for me at 59 bucks. Just a really clean, simple little flat base. That's all it was. Very simple setup. And, they own all the stocks that I don't. Kathy's got Hood, Kathy's got Coin, Kathy's got she's got them all. She's got Circle. She's got all the good ones. Yeah, OUST is extended. It's extended. VRT building a handle. A sloppy one, but yeah. Ideally some more digestion. Lemonade. Needs it's a little sloppy here, right? It's in a little uptrend. It's in a big overall uptrend, but it's a little volatile. I'm looking to buy something as it's coming out of an area of tightness, right? So compare a lemonade and then look at how I like to buy ARC, right? When it's coming out of some sideways digestion. Horizontal bases are the best, guys. They truly are, without question, 100%. Success. This one kind of sucks. I had this one at like 13 bucks, I think. Oh wait, no, it was Soxel. I had this one right down here. I don't know. I mean, if you like Success as what? As a short, maybe? Semiconductors are acting well. Yeah, what does top 40 groups mean? There's 197 industry groups. If you look at their Deep View platform, there's like 144. So basically, I'm just telling you to focus your energy on the top 1/5 of the market, right? Focus your energy on the top 1/5 of the market. Don't go giving stocks any of your attention that are outside of the top 40 groups. They're just not undergoing. Oh, yeah, 164. Thank you, Aman. For a second, I thought it was 144. Yeah, 164. 164 on Deep View and 197 on Market Search. And with FinViz, you'll just click on groups. And then on the left-hand side, you'll click on industry. And then you'll scroll down to like 3 months, 6 months, and just focus on the top half of that. And then you can add some filters, right? Which have good earnings and sales, which are above the 50 and the 200. And then you start eliminating all the junk. And the reason it's in a good group is because institutions are buying, right? The reason they've got earnings and sales is because they're a good company. And then you look for a technical setup that you understand. Yeah, I'm not sure if APLD will just keep kind of fading away here because CoreWeave sold their position. But what I do like is these big green skyscraper green bars and then very, very low volume as it was pulling back. So yeah, I won't be buying Oscar today. I mean, I saw this one too, but I wasn't going to be buying this. Now you're at 22 bucks. Yeah, I'm not chasing that. Hims looks fine, not extended. Looking a whole lot better. A whole lot better, finally. And then Rocket Lab. I actually kind of like Rocket Lab. Part of the reason that I like Rocket Lab, two reasons. One, ASTS is going vertical. Two, I don't know if this is going to get a little boost from the news that the SpaceX Dragon blew up over the weekend. My thoughts on Royal Caribbean. Makes me want to go on a cruise. Looks pretty good. Bit extended from the 50, but looks because it's a slow mover, but it looks fine. ADM. It's not like Archer Daniels or something. Nah, man. This thing just got above its 200. Like, this is a name that's in a downtrend and just got above its 200 and still has a downward sloping 200. Leave it alone for now. There are way better stocks out there than ADM. That's awesome. Yeah, if you bought Coin and Oscar, congratulations, dude. Sometimes that's all it takes, right? It depends on Bitcoin. Iron does look like a small little bull flag. Iron coincidentally looks fairly similar to here. So we'll see. Don't love it. Don't hate it. C for Citigroup. I like JP Morgan the most. You know, I had this thing at 268 and then it stopped me out right in here. And then got stopped out a few days later on the gap down. And then, of course, it decided to go. Is that lovely? Oh, super lovely. So now we're up, $7.50 from where I owned it. And I no longer own it. Nibs is extended. It looks good, but it's just still a touch extended. The more sideways, the better. But, in this market, could very well just go. Correct. Yeah, correct, XA. So on A-Lab, I just want to be patient, especially like in this recent market. We've had a lot of instances where the market, like a stock will rip for like 5 minutes right in the morning, and then it'll retrace that whole move, hit the low of day, and then all of a sudden start to turn back up. Well, if you chased it within the first 5 minutes, you're taking a loss right away. And then, you might be rechasing it down the road. So just be patient. Just be patient in the morning. At least let the first 5 or 10 minutes of the day pass, and then you can come in and buy your shares. Last thing you really want to do in this market is when we're this kind of extended is chase. Although, there's quite a bit of FOMO going on out there. Snow looks good too. I once owned this thing at 205. It just wasn't moving. Snow looks good, just a touch extended. AMD thoughts. I like AMD. I think they eventually play some nice catch up in the semi space. And based on this volume that came in above the 200, I'm hopeful that it wants to stay above and finally get moving. Looks good. Looks better, should I say? Don't want to use the word good, but definitely looks better. Nice to see out of AMD. When it sets up again, and the expected value on that setup is positive, right? So the way I like to add is imagine that I didn't own any at all. That's how I like to add. Pretend you own none. And then when you go to buy it, ask yourself, is this a spot I'd like to buy it for the first time? And if the answer is no, and you're just going to buy it again because you already own a bunch more from lower, don't do it. Because you're just like willing to screw up your average just because you own it from lower. That's not a good enough reason. I'm gonna wait for the few first minutes of the open, right? Like 10 minutes of the open, and then I'm gonna look for like a 5-minute opening range break or a pullback to a ascending 60-minute support. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys a ton. You guys enjoy your weekend. I got to get ready for stream. Thank you guys a ton for being here, and I will see you guys bright and early Monday morning. Trade them well today. Don't do anything crazy, right? We're going into the weekend. Maybe try to get yourself positioned in a name or two, but don't do anything crazy. Don't oversize wild, and I will see you guys on Monday. Affirm looking better, Julian. All right, we'll see you guys on Monday. Cheers.